Welcome everyone to our show today. I'm Father Sam Monaco and I'm pleased to be here. And I just want to begin by asking you to join us in prayer as we pray for today's show and all of those who will be participating today. And so we rely on the help of our God, and let us pray as we call upon our God's blessing. And as always, we pray in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Amen. Heavenly Father, we give you thanks for this day, for this opportunity. We thank you for Renee and Judy, who will be hosting. We thank you for Michelle, who is the stroke coordinator at North Shore University Hospital, and for all her work and all that she does for the benefit of others. We ask you to bless this show, to help us to communicate your message of love and of hope and of healing to all those who are in need. We pray for our viewers. We ask you to bless them and to help them with whatever needs that they have and that they rely upon your grace for. We thank you for this opportunity. We ask you to bless our show, to bless our lives, and to bless our loves. We ask this through Christ our Lord.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Hi, welcome to ReneMarie's Stroke of Luck. I'm ReneMarie, and that was my friend, my dear friend, Father Sam Monaco. We always have Sam pray for us. He's part of our foundation, the Faith Support, and I thought it was pretty perfect to have him begin this show that he's our special guest, one of our special guests on, and with the prayer, because he prays for us all the time, and he was actually the one that prayed for the softball marathon and my first book signing and the telethon, and that's how we begin all our days and all our events. So thank you so much, Sam. Anyway, so we're going to have, I lost track. We're going to have a wonderful show today. Can we open it up for the, oh, you're here, that's okay. So we're going to have a wonderful show today. Sam actually wrote a book, and we're going to be talking to Sam about his book and about, his book. What happened? Ooh.
Here we are.
Okay, so we're going to be talking to Sam about his book and about his relationship with the foundation. And actually, he works, he's a priest in a hospital. We're going to be talking to about how he really sees firsthand a lot of stroke patients. And Michelle as well. Michelle is the coordinator for stroke director. So it really is important to hear their sides of the stroke world. So let me introduce to you, well, first we have Judy Marlowe Ratway.
Yes.
Yay, I said her name right. I've been saying her name wrong all the way, so
That's all right.
thank you, Judy. And here's my dear friend, Father Sam Monaco.
Thank you,
How are
Renee.
you, Sam?
Good to be with you.
Yay!
Both of you.
I love the way you started the show.
Oh,
It was
thanks.
perfect.
Oh, was
It
it?
was perfect.
We don't have to
Yes.
do it over?
No.
Okay.
Well, no, we don't have to do it over. So, Sam, how long have we known each other? I think it's been
Oh.
over 10 years, right?
Well, we met in the town that we resided in, Hawthorne, New Jersey, and oh my God, it's been
over 10 years.
Over 10 years, 12 years, I
Yeah,
guess.
it's probably been.
Yeah.
So we met in St. Anthony's Church in Hawthorne, where Sam was a staff member at St. Anthony's Church. You were the religious education director,
I did a
believe?
lot of programs for children, teens, and adults, so I was
Wow.
quite busy, yeah.
Yes. And you were wonderful at it. You really have compassion, and it really takes...
I hope so. I hope, I think we made our mark.
Yeah, did.
We
You
did a lot of good.
You did. So, so when did I was trying to think when I was driving in, like how we connected. Do you remember how we connected? I don't remember how we connected.
Well, actually, with Mary Kay
Oh, okay.
mentioned to me that you were a singer.
Oh, okay.
And
okay.
I think I caught you at a rehearsal or somewhere along the lines, and then we started talking about your singing. And I don't know, the first time we met might have been at the feast. You were making Zeppelis, and I was eating the Zeppelis, and I think we met. Mary Kay introduced you, and you came from around the back area. You were covered in dough and powdered sugar, and that's how I met you.
I love to do Zeppelis at the feast because when you do Zeppelis at the feast, you see every single person that comes to the feast. Because every single person on one day or another always winds up at the Zeppeli line.
Buy a bag or two.
Buy a bag or two. And they always get a bag to go home. But we never have enough. We never have enough.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Never enough. So it was good. It was good. So, what you're explain exactly what you're doing right now.
Well, right now I'm back in active priesthood. I had been out, was out on leave for a while, and I worked at St. Anthony's as a religious education coordinator for the number of years that I was there, for about 9 years, I think. And then I was reinstated a couple of years ago and was offered the position as chaplain at Morristown Medical Center in Morristown, New Jersey, which is it's a large trauma center with a large number of Catholic patients. And someone told me about 2/3 of the medical staff are Catholic as well.
Wow.
So there's a need for 2 full-time chaplains there.
Right.
So myself and another priest serve the hospital community, and basically we're on call 24/7 between both of us. And I've been serving there for about 2 years.
Wow, it's been 2 years already.
It's been a challenge. It's been exciting.
Been the whole gamut.
It's been an eye-opener. Yeah.
You really realize. I mean, you knew this anyway, because as a priest and as in the position you were, you deal with a whole bunch of. You're always on call. You're always on call.
We're kind of like a first responder, in
Yeah.
the hospital. Patient comes in and they're really in need of us, or they're very critical. In the Catholic tradition, we administer sacraments to patients, sacrament of the sick, and blessings, and also we're there for the patients. We're part of the family support, and we're there. We spend time with the patients, holding their hand, trying to reassure them that they're going to get well. We're very confident of the medical team that we have, and we affirm the team. We get to know the doctors and nurses quite well. They get to know us, and we work together. It's a beautiful collaborative effort.
Yeah. And it really, I just began, 2 years ago. It's been about over 2 years that
It's a little over 2 years.
I've been on the stroke ambassador for Ridgewood Valley Hospital, and I'm on the acute committee, and we meet once a month. I was telling Michelle before, and it really astounds me, and really, I'm so humbled by the back end of what goes on. The staff there does such an incredible, really wonderful job.
And you're a blessing to everybody that you visit.
Thank you, Judy.
Oh,
Thank
yeah,
you.
that's important
Thank you.
work.
You give hope and
Thank you. Thank you.
Motivation.
But I'm only like a
very
minuscule of what it takes. It does take that.
Oh, we
that
all are,
team.
yeah. But we work together. We work with people like you, volunteers. We work with patient liaisons. We work with social workers, as well. So.
Right. You know what I was thinking when I was driving here? Remember we went to see Pat Benatar?
Oh yeah, at the Bergen.
It was in Englewood.
Englewood,
In
yeah.
Englewood.
Bergen,
In Englewood.
yeah.
But Sam came to see Pat Benatar with me. I think the next day I was going to meet her in person. Was it the next day or was it the day before?
No, it was the next day, and all of a sudden I see you sent me a picture of the two of you, Renee and Pat Benatar.
Oh my God!
And I think her husband.
I know I'm not supposed to yell. Sorry.
Her husband is I think
Neil.
Neil, I think.
Neil.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
And it was a phenomenal concert, and
Her voice was rocking, and she was over 50 at that particular.
And he's still one of the best guitarists.
Oh my God!
I
They are incredible. They are incredible. But you remember that car?
Oh, the first time we saw the smart car, yeah.
The smart car, Sam. But they never sent the photo to us. We had a picture. We had a picture taken.
Yeah, we both got into the smart car.
That's the very small car.
It was like when it first came out.
Yes, and we never
the
had
very small one. Yeah,
Very small.
we could fit it right here if we wanted.
Yes, I've seen
right in
it.
front of us here.
So Sam, tell us a little bit about your book. Vicki, could you put the photo up of Sam's book? Let's put the photo up. What's it called, Sam?
Well, I entitled it "The Art of a Virtuous Serve," and it's took me a number of years. I came up with just the idea of just putting some thoughts down. I actually started collecting stories of
Oh, so this is
of
really
virtuous service stories. People that did extraordinary things, and I kept them, and I decided to just start writing. I just had that inkling, and I started writing a chapter, and then I wrote another one, and then I decided, I said, let me see how far I can go with this, and
Yeah.
put a manuscript together. You had written your book,
Yeah.
so I was kind of motivated
Inspired.
by that, and I was with you, in the promotion and all the things when your book came out.
It's exciting. It's exciting. It's exciting to have. And let me tell you something. It is a huge accomplishment.
Definitely.
It is a huge
Yeah, you don't really
accomplishment.
realize it until after, and even after the fact, it takes a while before it sinks in.
Yeah, because you not only have to write it, but unless you have editors and and people to put it together, we have to literally lay out the whole book.
Well, somebody called me and they said your book is on Amazon.com, and I hadn't even checked. And I think that's when it kind of the reality set in. When I did go to Amazon.com, I put in my name,
Yeah.
and the book
Yeah,
came
yeah.
up, and I realized, oh, it's really out there.
That's
It's,
very exciting.
So it's good. It's a good message. I'm glad it's out there.
Oh, yeah.
And it should be on Barnes and Nobles as well.
BarnesandNoble.com as well
Right.
as Kindle.
Right,
It's,
right, yeah, because
Kindle
mine
edition,
as
yeah.
well. Mine as well.
Yeah.
So, so how did you come up with the name? I'm just curious.
Well, based on the stories that I had collected, and then I have experience in tennis. I played when I was in high school, and then I became a tennis official for tournaments, college level, junior tournaments, adult tournaments. So I had all that experience, and I ran a program in our town,
Right.
Hawthorne, for kids, for juniors, a tennis clinic. We did that for 3 weeks every summer. So I decided to write about these heroic stories, and I knew the story of Andre Yeager, Margaret Court, Andre Agassi, and Arthur Ashe, and they had extraordinary stories
Right.
outside of tennis,
Right, I
outside of
know.
their tennis accomplishments.
Right.
And so I said, well, I'd like to put that out there for people to see. I didn't read much about their efforts and their successes off the tennis court.
Wow.
So I decided to put all that together and put it in a book, and to put it out there for people to see.
Wow.
It's just to motivate people, inspire people.
Yeah, yeah. So that was I actually began to read the book, and I really didn't have enough time, and I'm not a good liar. I promised Sam I would read the book, and but I did skim it, and there was some of the stuff that really stuck to in my mind, and it's the fact that you designated or attributed the book to your mom and your dad
My
and
parents
your
had- yeah.
entire family.
That's beautiful.
Passed away, and and I thought of all the family members who aren't around, and so I wanted to dedicate it. It's the first book, so.
Yeah, and you
Yes,
actually
yes.
said in the book how, your mom and your dad really were your backers in tennis, how they, you weren't very good when you first began, and they kept pushing you and kept bringing you and really kept you inspired to keep the hope to be able to achieve, being successful at tennis.
Yeah, they knew nothing about tennis. I mean, we watched it on TV. So they weren't tennis parents as we see today, where tennis parents are also coaches.
Right,
Right,
right.
I mean,
right.
they know everything about their
That's true.
children who play,
Right.
and they coach them. I've seen that,
Yes.
Right,
But
right.
my parents really didn't know any of that. But they supported me. They were happy to see me doing something I loved doing, and they they just welcomed the opportunities and helped me along. So
Yeah, yeah.
so
So it's pretty incredible. And we'll continue this conversation, but I think we need to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Hi, I'm going to do a live commercial. Hi, I'm ReneMarie, the president and founder of ReneMarie's Language of Love Foundation. I would like to personally invite you to our second annual telethon held right here on Madhousetv. Did you know that nearly 80% of strokes could be prevented? By knowing the signs and getting to the hospital within a 4.5-hour window, you could save your life or someone's you love life or anyone's life. Strokes do not discriminate who it affects and at what time. A stroke can happen at any time and play a huge impact in your life. Do you know what aphasia is? It is a result of a stroke or brain injury, which affects the ability to speak and communicate. Think about how you would feel if you cannot express yourself, even in the simplest forms. I am blessed to say that I am a stroke survivor and can humbly speak of the experience of how it feels to express myself, to not be able to express myself, and not to understand. It is devastating. Please join us on March 20th, 2016 on Madhousetv for a Language of Love telethon, which supports strokes and aphasia. You can visit our website at www.languageoflovetelethon.org. Together, we are lifting our voices and changing the face of strokes and aphasia around locally and around the globe. God bless you, and I'll see you on Madhousetv on March 20th, 2016. God bless everybody. Ciao.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This is me, DMC, in the place to be, the greatest MC in history. There will never be an MC greater than me. And right about now, the only place for you to be is with your one and only Madhousetv.
You are the man.
Hi, welcome back to ReneMarie Stroke of Luck. This is February, right? February is the month of love. So I'm going to ask Vicki to put up a photo, just something that February is the month of love. We should, in my foundation and our lives, we should all be loved. We should love one another, and not to steal words from Ellen DeGeneres, but her be kind to one another really rings true in my mind, and we should all be loved. So I pray that everybody finds it in their heart, especially during the month of February, with cold hands and warm hearts, to find a little love in your life, you know. And love should be between everybody. It doesn't matter whether you're you're in a relationship or your friends or your family, but just respect and love each other, because it's really, 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 really important, you know. So let's talk a little bit more about Sam's wonderful book. Sam, when I was reading your book, I noticed that you talked about St. Francis.
Yes.
St. Francis. I love St. Francis.
It wasn't a tennis player, but
No.
he needed to be mentioned. Yeah.
To explain why.
Well, I'm affiliated with the secular Franciscan order, and because the book is entitled "The Art of a Virtuous Serve," St. Francis wrote a salutation of the virtues, and so I also I have that. I put that in the book as well, just a little explanation about it.
Right.
So, but I did it for those two reasons, because I'm affiliated with the Franciscans as a secular Franciscan.
Right.
Even though I'm a diocesan priest, secular priest, as we say. But I'm also affiliated with the Franciscans, and the fact that St. Francis was very virtuous in his life, and he's a model of virtue.
That's the St. Francis that the birds fly and, right?
Well, supposedly, the St. Francis who is the patron saint of ecology and nature.
Right,
You know, so
right.
creation.
Right.
Francis loved creation and was very incarnational in terms of that God's presence is in everything, in us as well as in all of nature.
And
So-
I love St. Francis because my grandmother, my father's mother, Nana, swear to God, she had this huge backyard. The house was very old, but she had this huge backyard. My grandfather had gardens planted, tomatoes, peppers, and huge. But my grandmother used to walk back there and birds used to fly in her hand and just land in her hand. And that's what I remember when I see St. Francis, that,
Oh my
about
God.
my grandmother. It's pretty remarkable. It's pretty remarkable. In your book, I also noticed that tennis started in 1881.
Well, the modern version of the game, I mentioned about how it was actually a game that Major Wingate had devised. He devised some rules, the equipment, the net, the
Wow.
rackets, the balls,
Could
and
you
everything.
imagine coming up with that? You know what? Let's go put that on a list of things to do to devise a game.
I mean, he boxed it, and he basically sold it, and that's how the modern version of it started. Before that, it was basically it was a royal game. It was a nobility game. It
Right,
was,
right.
you know,
Almost like polo.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Without the horse. And so so I mentioned about how Major Wingate actually brought. At some point, he brought the game. It was from England to Bermuda, and then a woman who played the game in Bermuda picked up a box set. She brought it to Staten Island, and it was played at a croquet club in Staten
Wow.
Island, a lawn croquet
Wow.
club. And that's really the start, around that
Wow.
time, around 1881 or so.
And then in 1896, it became part of the Olympics.
Yes, it was
Right?
the Athens Games, which was the start of the modern Olympiad, and it was included. It's now an Olympic sport, and it will be played at the Rio Games this summer.
Wow.
Tennis,
Wow.
it was played.
Have you ever been to the Olympics?
In Atlanta? Yeah.
Yeah, I have been.
1996, I
Wow.
went. Yeah.
Wow.
Unfortunately, I was there when the bombing in
no.
Centennial
Yes.
Park took place, and
Yes.
so things, so the security was the issue after that. But I did get to see some track and field and
Wow.
walk around the
That's
venues
exciting.
and all that.
That's a monument to be part
Yeah.
of the Olympics. So it's almost as exciting as going to see the Pope. When I saw the Pope, I mean, honestly, because it's really a once in a lifetime
It's true.
thing that you get to be involved with. So tell me a little bit about Michael Linden. He is the young boy that has Down syndrome. You wrote in your book.
Oh, well, I also included some stories of virtuous service outside of tennis, and that was the story of Michael was a wrestler, and he always wanted to wrestle in high school competition, and so one of the wrestlers, who was an outstanding wrestler, they had arranged for a match.
Wow.
During one of
Right.
the competitions to pit Michael against this star wrestler. And the star wrestler made the decision that he was going to allow Michael to shine. And,
Wow.
I write about that in the book. And so the two of them, wrestled. The star wrestler made sure Michael was able to display
wonderful.
his
Right.
moves and wrestling skills. And in the end, he allowed Michael to pin him.
Wow.
And
Wow.
Michael won the match. And everybody was crying.
Yeah.
The family ran up to the star wrestler, hugged him,
Yeah.
and thanked him.
That's a
You know,
moment.
to me, that's what a virtuous serve is all about.
Right.
I mean, in tennis, a tennis serve starts a point, but a
Right.
virtuous serve makes a point.
Right.
You know,
Oh.
that God's love
That
is
is such a.
We
Say it
have to
again.
remember that.
Say that again.
Want me
That
to
is yes.
a tennis serve starts the point, but a virtuous serve makes a point.
Wow.
That God's love is in us, and we all have the potential to do that, enact that virtuous serve, like you have with the telethon and all this as well. This
Wow.
is your virtuous serve,
Thank you.
and there are no faults in,
Right.
in a virtuous serve. You can't
Right.
go wrong.
Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible. So, before we go and break and we bring Michelle on, who I'm very excited to talk to Michelle about her virtuous serve in life. Talk a little bit about the telethon, Sam. Talk just from your heart. Talk a little bit about how important it is now that you have experienced firsthand strokes.
Well, it's important. I mean, I see stroke victims on occasion at the hospital when I visit. And they're full of fear, the fear of the unknown. And so what we try to do is try to raise their spirits and to give them hope, to give them assurance that they are going to get well, which
Right.
most of the time they do. And the medical care nowadays is exceptional in terms of,
Yes.
and the rehabilitation staff is wonderful in all that as well. And so, and I think that's what the telethon is also about. A telethon is to raise awareness, but at the same time to give hope.
Yes.
And to give assurance to stroke and aphasia victims
Yeah.
that we hear you, we are there for you, we care for you, you are going to get better.
Yes.
You are going to be better.
Wow. Thank you, Sam. We're going to bring Michelle on in 2 seconds. This is Sam's book. Please, 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 please buy it. It's awesome. The Art of Virtuous Serve. And you can Google Sam on Amazon or on Barnes & Nobles, or you can email us and we'd be more than happy to let you know. And I'll post it on our Facebook page and on our telethon page and everything so everybody can hook up. We'll be right back with Michelle. Thank you.
What are you looking for? You don't even know that. Are you on the ball list? You can't even answer. I'm asking you about it. You gotta be highly skilled. You gotta be highly skilled. You understand that?
Are you sick?
Are you well versed there? Are you a very smart man? Hit me with some funny shit.
My shit's twisted.
Tell me something. Tell me
What do
something.
you have right there?
That's awesome.
Well-
That's a big.
That's nice.
You know damn well. You know damn well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's
Sir, are you interested? Are you interested
Twisted
or not?
talent.
I see you got twisted.
That's twisted. That's talent. That's talent.
You see what I'm saying? You understand me? And if you can't whip out answers like that, that man is liable to during a commercial break punch your fucking mouth loose. You understand me? Time is up, sir. You understand me? You're on. You're the man. All right, give me your name now. I'm sorry.
My name is Willie.
Willie, where you working at?
We are twisted. We are awesome. Love awesome. Love awesome. Love awesome.
Can you repeat that question again?
Galaxy Luxury Coach is a full-service limousine and party bus company. Family-owned and operated, we are an industry leader with over 25 years of experience in providing best-in-class luxury transportation for your special event. Whether it's your precious wedding day, an all-day wine tour out east, your high school prom, that special birthday, or just an amazing night on the town, our professional chauffeurs stand ready to ensure your special event is truly special. Galaxy Luxury Coach has one of the largest and modern party bus fleets in the New York area. Our party buses are simply nightclubs on wheels. Concert sound systems, light shows, lasers and strobes, multicolor LED lighting brilliantly lights your party bus inside and out. For corporate and more laid-back events, we will cater to your specific needs and requests. What sets Galaxy aside from all others in the luxury transportation industry is our attention to detail in customizing our services to your special event. At Galaxy, it's all about you and your guests. Galaxy customers return time and time again because they know they can trust Galaxy to help deliver those lifetime memorable moments. Step aboard and let your Galaxy experience begin.
welcome to ReneMarie Stroke of Luck. I'm ReneMarie, and this has really been an incredible show, and it's going to get better and better and better. Before we go, I want to remind everybody that next week we have the Go Red for Women in Long Island.
Yay!
Yay! So if anybody would like to go, and I believe there's still room to attend, you could go Red for Women in Long Island and Google it, and they'll be more than happy to hook you up because it's incredible. Last year there was over 900 people, so it was really exciting. Really exciting. Let's get right to it. Michelle Gripko.
Yes.
Yay! She's our special guest on the third segment of Stroke of Luck. Welcome, Michelle.
Thank you so much
Welcome,
for having
Michelle.
me. I really appreciate it.
Yes, and we all connected really quickly. Let me just tell everybody what your position is. You're the Stroke Program Director at North Shore University Hospital. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. And we were talking before about what that position entails. Tell us tell our audience what the position entails a little bit.
Well, my position entails making sure that as a hospital that we service our patients even before they come into the hospital to the time that they leave and follow up after hospital.
Wow. Like I was saying before, I really am on the back end of strokes now, and I really see what incredible work hospitals do to dedicate themselves to give the proper attention to stroke patients.
Yes.
Because as we were saying before, and Sam just mentioned, that you can recover from a stroke if you know the signs and you get to a hospital within a 4.5 hour window.
Right. But really it's educating everybody, the community, knowing the signs and symptoms of a stroke, but also our EMS, who does an awesome job in getting our patients to the hospital. So stroke care really starts in the community,
right.
And if they can get the person to the hospital quickly, we're able to get them to the CAT scan machine so that we can take a look at their brain and make sure that they don't have anything going on in the brain that precludes them from getting the medication with a clot buster, which is called TPA. And then from there, taking care of the patient throughout the hospital stay. And then after, either they're going to rehab or home, and then after that, the follow-up and making sure that they follow up and adhere to their medical treatments and follow up with their doctors.
Which is hard.
Yes.
Is hard because this is one of the reasons that my foundation is striving to create stroke centers. Now, stroke centers, almost like the Adler's Aphasia Center
Or
and
St.
like
Jude's.
St. Jude's, where money isn't the forefront of the recovery,
Yes.
because people have to go to work. So just think about it. Someone has a stroke, I'm sure you know,
Yes.
and they go home, they go to rehab, then they go home, and what happens? Life goes back to normal for most families, and what do you do?
Well, it's difficult because really stroke doesn't just affect the survivor, but it also affects the caregivers and their families. So when they want or they have to go back to work because of financial reasons or other reasons, the stroke survivor still has to be able to go to and follow up with their physicians, make sure that they get their medications, and coordinating all that can sometimes be very stressful for the caregiver.
It is. It is. When I just went to a stroke support group recently, and that was the biggest topic of conversation was how, I remember.
It's very difficult. I felt that way too when I was taking care of my dad, because I was putting in 6 or more hours every day for 3 years and 3 months taking care of him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
At our stroke club, which is our support group, we have every week. That also comes up, and a lot of times when you have your stroke survivor, they rely so much on their caregiver, and then it's difficult for the caregiver to then get their respite and regenerate and go back to some normalcy for themselves as well. So stroke can also be a blessing, but it also can be a curse when it comes to having changes in their lifestyle, because sometimes friends don't understand, especially if the patients, I heard you talking about aphasia and difficulty talking, and friends don't understand how to react. But the more education that we get out to the community and understanding what stroke survivors go through and what support they can do and help would be wonderful.
Right. Right.
It really is important.
Right. Right.
Because the more engaged you have for your caregivers and the support systems, the better the recovery is.
Yeah. I'm speechless because, my brain starts going, okay, that's why we have to do telethon. That's why we have to,
And
I just start rambling, that just doesn't make sense to me,
I know that I felt guilty on a day when I had a fever and I couldn't go. And I felt guilty. I was calling on the phone, but he couldn't really, somebody had to pick up the phone for him and all that. I felt so guilty that I couldn't be there just one day.
That's why we want to do the stroke centers. And when Judy asked me what I would do with the $1 billion that we were in the lottery, I said, of course I know what I'd do with it. I'd create stroke centers. Stroke centers where people can go and be surrounded with love and support that they need to survive.
Right.
To recover, not survive, recover. Recover, because love is the answer. Love really does heal when you're surrounded with love and just all that good energy and not worrying about anything.
I remember my dad thanking me just before the end of his life, thanking me for what I did for him.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Wow.
That really is important.
So, Michelle, tell us a little bit about your history. How did you get the position? What did you used to do?
I started my nursing career in pediatric oncology at Memorial Sloan Kettering in the city.
Wow.
Yes. And there I went to North Shore University Hospital. They were opening a bone marrow transplant center there for pediatrics. And then from there, I went to Pfizer Pharmaceuticals and I worked for their adverse drug reaction database.
What did you work for? Adverse
drug reaction database.
What is that?
So if you take a medication and you have an adverse effect from the medication, the government wants the sponsors or the drug companies to monitor all adverse events or any events that side effects, I think would be the easiest way.
Right.
And they report that. And then they keep track of that to see. There might be a trend over time that you might need to change or take that drug off the market. So I worked with them to do that.
Now, isn't that just being the black, the thinking from the other side? Isn't it sad that they're waiting to see that things happen before they take it off the market? Then all these...
No, that's not really, I'll clarify.
Yeah,
it's not, because when the drug comes to the consumer, it's already been tested.
Okay.
It's already tested and it's out in the community, but when the drug is being tested, it's tested under circumstances where it's monitored and certain patient population is used for the testing.
Right.
When you bring it out to the community, everybody in the community is who needs the medication takes it. So you might see trends that you wouldn't have seen otherwise in the experimental area.
Now, what medicines do they take for strokes? What would be some of the? I know it's an aspirin a day.
Well, which is in a category of antithrombotics. Sometimes people take Plavix. Then there's also the anticoagulants, which can be your Coumadin or some of the other newer medications that they have out there, like Eliquis or Xarelto. And then there are the statins, which could be Lipitor, Crestor, any of those medications, and blood pressure medications if they need to have their blood pressure monitored. And if they're diabetic, it could be diabetic medications. So people with stroke, if they have some of their risk factors, they might be on several different medications.
Wow. They wanted to put me on Coumadin, but I was 26.
Oh, God.
I said, if I don't die from the stroke, I'll die. I mean, it was too young to go on such a hard medicine, And my neurologist didn't want to put me on it, but other people were saying I should go on Coumadin, and I'm like, I'll just take my aspirin.
What about aspirin if you can't take aspirin and you've had a stroke?
They might look at other aspirin equivalents to see if you can, to substitute for that.
So you participated in the American Stroke Conference in June 6, 2013?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. And what did you do participating in that? I
presented, it's called a stroke consortium. It's all of the stroke coordinators within the greater New York area. We, all of the stroke coordinators from Westchester all the way out to the east end of Long Island get together and we talk about best practices.
Wow, that's incredible.
And how we can best practice, deliver best practice to all of our stroke patients.
Wow.
No matter, so the barriers of who do you work for and everything come down.
Right.
We are all stroke coordinators in that particular arena.
And I love that. That's why our foundation says that together we're lifting our voices and changing the face of stroke and aphasia locally and around the globe, because it's not about you know, this is my foundation, that's your organization. It's about let's get together. Let's bring awareness to the world, you know. So it's pretty important. Explain to me what time is brain.
So time is brain, because the faster you get to the hospital, the quicker you might be eligible to be treated for your stroke. The longer it takes for you to get to the hospital, that time parameter that you talked about, receiving that clot-busting medication within 4.5 hours is very important. If you wait, we would not be able to give it to you. So every minute that the brain does not get oxygen, 2 million brain cells die.
Say it again. Every minute.
Every minute that the brain does not get oxygen, 2 million brain cells die.
Wow. Wow.
So I don't know about you, but every minute for me would definitely count.
Right.
So
but that's why it's so important because we're involved with strokes and we're involved with aphasia. So of course we're going to know. But you who don't know and aren't aware of it, and I don't want to say this in the wrong terminology. The only thing that's coming to me is you don't really care to know. I don't know how to explain that. Like you don't think it will happen to you. You don't think it will happen to someone around you, but it can. Explain that it doesn't discriminate. We treat adults, so we've seen patients from the age of 18, and we've treated patients up to 100. And it happens at any point, at any time. An example would be my daughter was in her social studies class in high school, and her social studies teacher started writing on the board, but it didn't make any sense. And one of the students went out of the room to get the teacher to call 911, and by the time the teacher got back in, the teacher wasn't able to speak. And the teacher had a stroke right in front of everybody.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And it was important that everybody understands what the signs of a stroke can be, so they can think, be fast.
Right.
Which is balance, making sure if you get up and suddenly you're not able to have your balance. The E is eyes. So if you have you're seeing something, but then all of a sudden you have a field cut, which means that you can't see on one side, or you have change in your eyesight. That's the E. And the F is if you're talking to somebody and you might see one side of their face drooping. Right. And you can ask them to smile. And when I'm looking at you with those little two creases that we have in our face, if one looks different than the other, they might be having weakness on one side.
Right.
So that's the F. And then the A is just ask somebody, just put your arms out, hold them out. And if you start seeing one start to drift, that could be also a sign of a stroke.
And it's important to just let someone know. Call 911
well,
and let the medics decide.
Well, speech, if you see somebody and you're talking to somebody on the telephone and you're talking to somebody, that's the S. And the T is that time.
Yes.
Time to call 911, not your neighbor, not your friend, not your relative.
Right.
Call 911 first.
Right.
Then if you want to have a conversation with somebody else, do that.
Right. Because we've had, who was on our show, starts with an S, I can't think of her husband's a fireman. She's on our telethon as well. I'm drawing a blank. But her husband's a fireman, and he always says...
Oh, Sherry.
Sherry. She says to me, he says, call us.
Yes.
Call us. We would rather it be not an important call, but he would rather get that call to be able to determine whether it's a stroke or not. So...
and then with that phone call, it doesn't stop at just getting the EMS to your house or to where you are, but it also then, EMS then calls the hospital.
Right.
And we're ready to take you directly to that CAT scan room. Right. So it starts that whole chain of treatment, and that's where your time is brain.
Yeah. And they have to tell the ambulance that I think so-and-so is having a stroke.
Yes. Right. we're gonna take a quick break. Vicki, we have a few minutes after 1, right? Because we started. I just so I can time it. But we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back and we'll continue this conversation. I'm speaking a little off balance, but I'm okay. But I'm going to ask Michelle what a CAT scan is and like how it operates and how it can tell if someone's having a stroke. Okay, we'll be right back.
Being a fireman is more than just putting out blazes and giving kittens CPR. Sometimes my duty demands I fan the flames, like when a call comes in from a lady who needs immediate assistance. Maybe she needs help with a computer thing. Maybe she wants to go antique. Could be as simple as understanding that walking in heels it's hard. Aussi simple que l'été dernier à Paris. C'est sympa. Maybe it's ladies' night in, and she wants a simple, delicious recipe for margaritas with a twist. First, a can of limeade. Now hold on to this, you'll be using it. Side note, kittens make everything better. Next, add water. Now, a bottle of light beer. No, shh. Trust me, I'm a professional. And last, and most important, Sauza Blue tequila. Now, mix it up. Ole. Yes, that's what I'm trained for. Whether it's to help her choose leggings or pants, telling her leggings are pants, or discussing leggings and jeggings versus pant pegging at her next ladies' night in, I'll come to the rescue. Don't call me a hero. Just call me. Let me know what time.
Hi, I'm going to do a live commercial. Hi, I'm ReneMarie, the president and founder of ReneMarie's Language of Love Foundation. I would like to personally invite you to our second annual telethon held right here on Madhousetv. Did you know that nearly 80% of strokes could be prevented? By knowing the signs and getting to the hospital within a 4.5-hour window, you could save your life or someone's you love life or anyone's life. Strokes do not discriminate who it affects and at what time. A stroke can happen at any time and play a huge impact in your life. Do you know what aphasia is? It is a result of a stroke or brain injury, which affects the ability to speak and communicate. Think about how you would feel if you cannot express yourself, even in the simplest forms. I am blessed to say that I am a stroke survivor and can humbly speak of the experience of how it feels to express myself, to not be able to express myself, and not to understand. It is devastating. Please join us on March 20th, 2016 on Madhousetv for a Language of Love telethon, which supports strokes and aphasia. You can visit our website at www.languageoflovetelethon.org. Together, we are lifting our voices and changing the face of strokes and aphasia around locally and around the globe. God bless you, and I'll see you on Madhousetv on March 20th, 2016. God bless everybody. Ciao. Welcome back to ReneMarie Stroke of Luck. I just learned something really incredible. So I'm going to let Michelle tell us about CAT scans because, well, go ahead.
Okay. So the reason why we want a person who is exhibiting stroke symptoms to get to a CAT scan quickly is we want to make sure that there's no bleeding in the brain. If it's a brand new stroke, you might not see the stroke itself on the CAT scan picture, but you would be able to see if there's any bleeding going on in the brain. And if there's bleeding, then we will not be able to give them the clot-busting medication.
Oh, if there's bleeding. Because with my stroke, I didn't have any bleeding. There's 4 vessels in your brain, one of mine collapsed. That's the only way I can explain it. So how did they know I had a stroke then?
Because you exhibited the symptoms, and that's what the neurologists look at. They look at the presentation of the symptoms.
I definitely had one. I couldn't talk. I couldn't walk. I was throwing people out of my room. I was not myself.
Was it a sudden onset?
What do you mean by that?
Did it happen quickly?
Yes.
And that's really usually the sign of a stroke, is anything that happens very quickly.
Yeah.
So you could go to the bathroom and you were absolutely fine and you were able to go to the bathroom, but when you maybe were getting out of the bathroom, you might not be able to walk correctly.
You were on the field, right? Softball field.
I was on the. I was coaching, and I was on third base, and I was coaching, and I was walking off. The inning was over, and I got to the first base dugout, and I just said I need help, and I went down.
Yes.
And I went down.
And that's usually the sign, because if you think about it, think about it as the LIE and the northern and southern state. If you have an accident on one, all of a sudden everything stops and stands still.
Right.
And that's basically what happens in your brain. All of a sudden the blood flow just stops in that particular area.
Wow.
And for things, they're the most common type of strokes are usually the ones that happen in the front part of your brain. But there's also the strokes that happen in the back part of your brain, which involves your eyesight and balance and things like that.
Right. And where you have your stroke determines what it will affect. So like mine happened on my right side, so it was my left hemisphere.
Yes.
Right?
And it also depends on if you're right-handed or left-handed dominant. If you're a right-handy or a left-handed person.
I'm right-handed. I was right-handed. Now I'm ambidextrous.
Yes, and sometimes that happens.
Then
your brain has accommodated and was able to communicate with both sides.
Yep. It's pretty incredible.
Yes.
We only have a few more minutes, but talk about some stroke prevention.
So we have some things that we can't prevent. We can't prevent our gender. We can't prevent our age. We can't prevent our history. But we can prevent our reducing our factors of, say, weight. We can eat a nice, healthy lifestyle, live a healthy lifestyle and eat well, and also monitor our blood pressure, go to our doctors on a regular basis, making sure that everything is okay, making sure and take blood work, making sure that we don't have pre-diabetes or diabetes, and if you do, take your medications.
And eat well. Because I never realized how important it is to, fuel your body with foods that will help you to get better and help you keep you up,
Yes, it's really important to keep a very healthy lifestyle.
Wow, that's incredible. So the North Shore University Stroke Activities, what do you do? Like, what is one of the things that, you do as an activity to help stroke patients?
I am very proud. It was something that was put in place by Joanne Tournier when she was the stroke coordinator before me. It's called the Peer Support Group, and we partner with our volunteer office and the auxiliary, and we have survivors and or caregivers that come back after 18 months, and they visit the patients that are here in the hospital.
Wow.
So they're the ones that walk the walk, and they can do the talk.
Yep,
it's great.
Yeah, and what I was gonna say was, and it can come from, because this is why one of the reasons that I am a stroke ambassador is because I can say to that stroke patient, you're the one that's got to want it. You're the one that's got to do it. We'll be there to help you, but you gotta fight the fight. You have to want to get better.
And you stress that you did.
I know, and it's almost like an onion. You have to peel back all of the stuff they have around their brain so that they can understand that, because it wasn't many years till I understood what I had to do and what do I had to achieve. I was just like running around, you know, like, and I wasn't really focusing on what it was. So that is incredible that
Yes.
they've established that.
And recovery is lifelong.
It is lifelong.
Not, there is no cutoff. It's not just after 1 year or 2 years. It's lifelong.
Yes, yes. Michelle, you got to come back. We're not done. We have so much to ask you. So please come on back. Sam, thank you so much for being
Renee.
a guest on
Nice
our
to be
show
with you,
today.
Nice to meet with you.
Yeah, yeah. And we're, of course, we're going to end by singing a little bit, and I'm going to get the mics. So, no problem. Testing. I can hear the testing, testing. Okay. Ooh. Okay. So we're just gonna. We always sing with. We always end a song with music because music is a language of love, and that's why we came up with the name of our foundation. We really want to thank you once again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure being here.
Your knowledge and your wisdom is so helpful, and it really takes people like yourself and you, Sam, who work in a hospital, to really get the word out. So
Actually, it's you and everybody here. This is all a team.
yeah, absolutely, it is a team. It is a team. Can we? Are our mics working? Here we go. Yay! So we're gonna sing one of our favorite songs. Because if you listen to the words, you'll know why. You ready? Here we go. I just sit around making music all day long. As long as I'm making my music, I can't do nobody wrong. And who knows, maybe someday I'll come up with a song that makes people want to stop the fussing and fighting just long enough to sing along. Let's go. I believe in music, and I believe in love. Here we go. Music is a universal language, and love is the key to find brotherhood, peace, and understanding, and living in harmony. So clap your hands, stomp your feet, and shake your tambourine. Lift your voices to the sky. God loves it when you sing. Let's go. I believe in music, and I believe in love. Let's go one more time. I believe in music. Lord knows that I believe in love. Let's go. Music is a universal language, and love's the key to find brotherhood, peace, and understanding, and living in harmony. So take your brother by the hand and sing along with me. Find out what it really means to be young and rich and free. Let's go. I believe in music. Lord knows that I believe in love. I believe in music. Lord knows that I believe in love. Have a wonderful day. God bless and thank you to everybody here. We'll see you in a few weeks. Telethon, March 20th, 2016, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Madhouse TV. Tune in. Let's go. Raven, blow our kisses. Let's go. Believe in music. Lord knows that I believe in love. I
And Michelle, too, we